One of the toughest things to worry about when you accept a position like this, as say everybody gets to spend their money the way they want. Well, somebody might spend their money and waste it, and somebody might do something else, and they say. And I've had members of Congress tell me after asking them, "Why are you voting for this to tell the people what to do with their money?" He says they're too dumb. They're too dumb to know what to do, so we have to tell them. But it's the whole idea that because you allow people to make their choices, that you're not endorsing what they do. As long as they're not doing harm to you and they're not defrauding us like our government is constantly doing with our money, that you're not endorsing it. It's very easy for us to understand this in religious matters because we legalize the freedom of choice in religion, or we even, believe it or not, legalize the choice of not going to church on Sunday if you don't want to. You know, what you do is people can do what they want, and but you have to be, you're not to be punished for what they do. That does not mean you endorse what they do. What you endorse is the concept of liberty. That is what made America great. It was across the board, and it was to say, what we want to give you is individual liberty. The purpose of all political action, from my viewpoint, is the protection of liberty. That's what it should be. And the founders had a plan. They thought that we are coming together. We're going to have a national government. We are going to have a national defense. We're going to have a national currency, gold and silver. And we have some rules. We're going to have permission to have interstate commerce. But most of the rest of the Constitution was written in order to protect us against the danger of a central government, so most of the Constitution is restraining the federal government. It was not written to restrain you in any manner whatsoever. And if the people in the country still wanted more government than the federal government was provided, there was no prohibition. You can go to your state government and beg and plead for more taxes and more regulations or whatever you want if you want it. But it was not meant to be the federal government. But it is out of control. It's out of balance. Not only do we have to worry about the continuation of the accumulation of power in Washington, D.C., unfortunately, it's going one step further. We now have international government that is very much involved through environmental laws, educational mandates, and all kinds of things under the organization of the United Nations, the IMF, and the World Bank. And I think that we should strictly adhere to the Constitution and not deliver any of our sovereignty up to any of these international organizations. Right now, we have a financial crisis. They know it as much as we do, and they're planning, but they're planning an international answer to this. They're planning through the IMF to come up with a world currency to replace the dollar, because the dollar will be replaced. You just can't keep printing them forever. They're going to have to attempt to restore confidence, but they want to come up with another paper currency controlled and ruled by the United Nations and the IMF. So I would suggest very strongly that we need to send a powerful message to those individuals in charge by showing them that we are not a small minority any longer, and we're constantly growing, and we are going to have a lot of influence with the future of this country. Now, you know, a couple of weeks ago we had a message, and we thought we had sent out a pretty positive message out of Iowa. I think we sent out a pretty positive message last night out of New Hampshire. And I think South Carolina is next on the list. So if this momentum is going to continue, we are going to have to do the work, and it takes a lot of work. The one thing that I'm amazed about in the campaign is there's a lot of spontaneous campaigning going on. You know this thing, internet, people seem to talk to each other, and they get together and they campaign and raising funds, you know, the whole thing. But it's going to be very important on how we do. So we have to continue our efforts and continue this message because of the necessity of it. I believe this is why our numbers are growing. Not so much that they automatically people got converted, but they automatically got concerned. Even the people who are on the receiving end of all these government benefits are scared to death about what's happening. So, and the people are just tired of the overseas expenditures, and they are looking for something. Fortunately for us, we don't have to invent it. We have to talk about our Constitution. We have to talk about the traditions of America. And the traditions of America was self-reliance and independence. We know where our rights come from. Our Declaration tells us our rights come from our Creator, and our lives come from our Creator. I don't know where we went wrong. I think it was in 1913, because the natural consequence of believing that we have a right to our life and we have a right to our liberty, wouldn't it be reasonable to assume that we ought to have a right to the fruits of our labors and keep what we earn? So I'm looking forward to these next few weeks, and we are going to be very, very busy and involved, and we're getting ready to send this message because it's going to become a very, very much of a national message, because we have to change what is happening. The status quo, you know, the danger that we are to them is we're going after the status quo, the people in charge, and they ought to be looking out, because we're coming and we're going to deliver this message, this great message. To me, it's a great message of peace and prosperity. Thank you very much. Stay around for a couple minutes. Hey, good to see you. Good to see everybody.
Thanks for spending the birthday.
Good to see you. Okay, good.
Paul, it's been 30 years. Thank you so much.
Well, great. Good to see you again. Thank you very much.
I was a delegate for you in Washington State at the 2008 caucus.
Oh, wow.
My husband's active duty now.
In the
We're in
state
South
of
Carolina.
Active duty. I love it. Now, the state of Washington?
State of Washington.
Yeah, I was always impressed that we had so much support out
Yeah,
there.
so thank you. I saw you at the University of Washington.
Hey, good to see you.
Oh, go
May I
ahead.
use this?
Absolutely.
Oh, you Zimbabwe note? Oh, there you go.
I think he wanted me to sign it.
Hey.
I got it.
Okay, good to see you.
I drove from Virginia for this interview, Doctor.
Better do.
I didn't have anything. I thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Not employed.